welcome to another edition of That Millwall Calling. It's Sunday night, can only mean one thing. It is the Millwall Calling, where myself and Stephen, good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Mickey, you right?
Yeah, not too bad, fella. It's where we take to the air for normally 60 minutes, but tonight we are going to go for 2 hours, purely because I think there's a fair amount to talk of. And also some of you keep moaning that we're not on there long enough. So basically what we're going to look to do is break it down into 4 30-minute segments or thereabouts. So this first segment, we're going to be talking about the match yesterday and our running coming towards the end of the season with the 7 games left, and talk a bit about the teams around us, where we think they're going to be, who we think they're possibly going to be falling out or in. Good evening, David. Good evening, Darren. And then the second, third and fourth, we will be talking about the Neil Harris evening in part. We will be talking about some of our players in part. And also we will be talking about a few posts that we posted online this week, which has given us some highly amusing content, which we will be doing probably third or fourth part of this. Basically, we posted something on Twitter where we asked for people's opinions that you probably wouldn't share, but if you did, you get yourself in banging trouble for it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, welcome. If you've not seen us before, thanks very much for tuning in. We pretty much go off the cuff. There is no script. You pretty much lead us in a direction that we go in. Sometimes it's not the way we want to go. Good evening, Chris. I think you're the same, Chris. Your video is now live on our YouTube channel. And it seems to have got good response so far. So, yeah, happy days. Right, Stephen, crack on, fella. Thoughts on yesterday's game?
Very much. I thought it's quite a game of 2 halves. Sounds a bit stupid. I think first half we struggled a little bit. They kind of had us pinged back quite a little bit, and we sort of, didn't really get to grips with a couple of their forward players. Not necessarily Jed, who I'm sure we'll come on to. I thought we, in parts, kept him quite quiet. Second half, it was a different team. We should have perhaps won the game. I think we have to take into consideration that whilst winning the game would have been really, really good yesterday, to pick up a point when every other team around us that realistically we're in a fight with for the playoffs dropped points or didn't even gain any points. I think a point was a really, really good result. I think there were some really strong performances. Oh, I'm just echoing, Mick. No. I thought there were some really good performances from a couple of Millwall players. I thought there was a couple of disappointing ones as well, which I'm sure we'll go into in a little bit further detail. But all in all, a really good point in a tough place to go.
Yeah, no, I think it was a well thought point. I think we could have probably put it away if we wanted to. I think it was just one of those days. We didn't really have a lot of luck, but we had the referee on our side for a fair amount. We seemed to get a lot of calls our way, and again, a lot of calls non our way. I don't know how we managed to get the free kick or get the offside when our player rugby tackled him to the floor, allegedly. But we managed to get the offside for that, which was bizarre. And a few other decisions. How we fucking missed the elbow to Cresswell, I fucking do not know.
The ref, the thing, what I've noticed, and there's a lot of other podcasts, other clubs, people talk about referees. I think there was an unhappy West Brom fan that you shared who made his feelings quite clear on the ref yesterday with us. But we also are on the back end of some terrible decisions. Like Cooper was fouled in the first half. It was a penalty. He was thrown to the floor. Nothing. Bradshaw clearly won the ball. And I know in the grand scheme of things, getting a booking isn't really the be-all and end-all. But then if Bradshaw then picks up another booking for something else, like a late tackle where he's trying to block the ball, he's sent off for no reason. The standard of refereeing is poor. However, the offside, Leonard clearly touches the ball. You can clearly see that it's him that knocks it down the line, and I think we're very, very lucky to get away with the tackle that George Long made. The linesman and the referee massively helped us out.
Yeah. Good evening, Tomo. Tomo's joined us, who used to join us on the space. He's now hit YouTube. So yeah, good luck there. David says it was a good 0-0 game.
Yeah.
Darren says best game Murray has had for a while. Had Jed in his pocket most of the game. When Billy fully fit, would you start? We'll come to that in a minute. Would you start?
The point that I think it was a good game for a 0-0. There wasn't loads of chances, but there were chances for both teams. And look, at this stage of the season, if you pick up points and the teams around you don't, it's a good day. I think a lot of people would have taken a point beforehand, and especially with everyone else losing, a point now seems a really, really good result going into a home game.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I do. It just feels like a few points were dropped. We could, I mean, if you look at the teams around us, by the way, if anyone's looking, normal cup tonight, no fucking stitch me ups, perfectly normal cup. But yeah, I mean, I just think if you look at the clubs around us, they seem to be getting wins when we don't. And I agree with what Danny's just come in with there. Danny's come in with Luton on Friday is a massive game now.
Yeah.
It's a must win. There is no fucking about now. We have to win that game.
It's very tricky because Norwich play Blackburn on Friday, and they're the two teams that are directly now below us. I know Blackburn on goal difference, so both of them can't pick up points. So, and there's a lot of games where lots of teams in the top six are facing against each other. I said it yesterday before the game that I thought 4 wins would be enough to see us in the top six, because I think you'd get a point as well along the way. So that would see us take 13 points from 21.
Yeah.
With now the 4-point gap, that means other teams would have to take 18 from 21. They're not going to do that because they've got to play each other. So we've got 4 home games. You win all 4 home games, you make the top 6. So again, I don't think it's do or die on Friday. But again, it's another game where if we avoid defeat, then we're really, really in a strong position. And I don't know if you've just seen, but a notification has just come up, not Millwall related, that Chelsea have sacked Graham Potter. Which I'm not surprised at. Yeah, it's just I've just let the thing come up on Sky. Yeah, they've sacked Graham Potter.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
And that quote, Danny, it's Burnley is Blackburn's. Oh, Simon's already beat me to it. Yeah, it's Blackburn, and they play it the third to last game. Blackburn's last 3 games now are Burnley, Luton, and Millwall. So if they're going to do it, they're going to do it the hard way.
Which is going to be a bit of a hard one, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, it's not the easiest of going, is it? Do you know what I mean?
I think Blackburn are the team. I think perhaps worried the most. My dad has just made a comment. West Brom had 1-10 out of the last.
Oh, is that your old man? Is it?
That is my dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, of course, I'm going to agree with him, but that's true as well. I didn't know that before the game yesterday. 10 wins out of 11. I think as well, to back that up, they had only conceded 3 goals at home since their manager took over. So, okay, yeah, I know we didn't score, but it was always going to be a tough ask yesterday. So to come away with that was very good.
I think there was a post. You can get to the comments as well, can't you?
I can see them come up. Yeah.
Yeah, can you click on them as well, though, or not?
Let me try one. There, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can put them up as well if I'm not
Yeah.
paying attention to a degree. So yeah, that's fine. I think yesterday was definitely points dropped, but not in a bad way, if that makes sense. It was a well thought out draw and a draw what pretty much we needed. They did. They needed the win,
Yeah.
so we stopped them getting the win, which is, which was great. We made Jed, and we'll come on to the Jed topic a bit later on. So stay around if you want to get vocal with Jed. I just listen. As long as the teams around us we beat them or we draw with them, it don't really matter, does it?
I think you have to win 4 games. If you can win 4 games as soon as possible, great. That would be the way to go about it. But I don't think if we draw against Luton on Friday, it's not the end of the world. And they're in good form. I don't know how. I mean, I didn't see it, but I've seen on Twitter and been told that Luton played Watford off the park in the first half on Saturday. They absolutely annihilated them. So I'm not saying that they're going to be able to come to the Den and do that, but they obviously are confident. So that if we win on Friday, that really would put us in a strong position. But a point would still be good. And as Christopher Ballard, it is in our hands, and that's all you can ask for. The players have got it in their own destiny. So
I mean, the table stands at the moment with Luton. Luton's on 67 points, and we're obviously on 61, 5th place on goal difference, because obviously Blackburn has got 0 goal difference, and then Norwich is on 57. So Coventry on 57, West Brom on 56. I think pretty much, give or take a few, hopefully we don't, but I think pretty much that's pretty much going to be the final table to a degree, don't you? As long as we don't fuck it up too badly. I mean, Norwich needs to win 2 games. West Brom's got a game in hand, though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because they'll still be behind us.
Yeah.
And their game in hand is like Blackburn's. It's the 3rd to last game. So by that time, it could mean nothing.
Yeah. These comments. These comments are coming in fast and furious now, mate. We're getting more and more of you joining. So welcome. Welcome to the show. So basically, if you've not seen this before, we do this every Sunday night. Me and Stephen are really sad we have no life. We decide to spend an hour or two tonight due to popular demand of just pretty much chewing the fat over Millwall. This show will be going out as a podcast throughout the week. And obviously, it's only really takes place because of your comments. Obviously, if you're watching it on YouTube, then you get to see the comments too. Unfortunately, there are quite a few of them coming in, so we won't be able to reply to them all or even read them all out.
There is one.
And then we'll go from there. Go on, we'll go with that one first, where your old man again has said home form is key to top 6 finish.
It is, but it's also key because over the last couple of weeks, our home form hasn't been as good as it may seem, because the Den might have been a fortress, but we were drawing a few. We lost to Norwich. We lost to Huddersfield. That point is the one I was going to come on to. That Huddersfield, the players, everyone was so downbeat after Huddersfield. It was a terrible result. They scored 4 past Middlesbrough, who are supposedly one of the best team or the most informed team in the Championship. So I think people got to realise that if you lose a game, especially when it's still in your hands, and I'll say this now, we are going to lose another game, at least another game this season. It is going to happen. It just will. We're not going to win all 7 games. It's just about making sure that if that does happen, you then win a game straight after it. And as I say, the home form, you win your 4 home games, you make the top 6.
There's a question. Simple. No, exactly. There's a question then for early on for tonight. There is going to be plenty of questions coming out tonight for the audience, but here's one for you. Who was your man of the match on Saturday? David says his was Cooper. Who is yours? Potter to Leicester. I wouldn't laugh. It could absolutely happen. But he's probably got a massive financial payout and he probably won't need to go anywhere for a while. He might even go somewhere else, a bit lower league. Could go Crystal Palace. You've ripped that. Zion Fleming is much better than Wallace. Yeah, I think we got the better end of the bargain there. And again, we'll come on to our thoughts on Jedhu in a bit. These comments are flying.
I have to agree, George Saville. There's a lot of people voting for George Saville, and I know it's obvious that he's probably my favourite player in the current squad at the moment. But he was phenomenal yesterday, and his tackle.
Yes, he did.
On the counter when they were away, and he just absolutely hacked the guy. We're one of the only clubs that one of our players could do that, and the entire away support clapped him. And they started singing his name because he took someone out. Him and Leonard were absolutely brilliant yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Jed did clap our fans at the end. He come down and do it. There was some rumour that allegedly he was going to be wearing a shirt, but I don't know if that's fucking. I think that's just a wind up. To be fair, you know where it's come from, and there you go. You got to mention. So yeah. Let's hope it's a.
I think that's supposed to be good.
It's
Good Friday, isn't
it? Yeah. Disagree. We will not lose any more. Wow, Richard, that's a bold statement.
No, I would love to be wrong there. I would absolutely love to be wrong, but realistically, I don't see us going unbeaten for the next 7 games. But it'd be great if we do.
Do you think we will miss Cresswell? I don't know if he's out. Is he out for a game or is he wearing a mask?
Well, I don't know. Some players do wear a mask, don't they? He comes across as the sort that would want to play and that would wear a mask, but I don't know what the rules are if he has to miss a game or two. Or
QPR manager, we never fucking forget you, you dirty bastard. Fucking what you done to Tony Craig. But I did like the video of you with the hacker man, mate. That made you look like a cunt you really are. So that was brilliant. And it's always nice to see the forums of QPR going in absolute meltdown. I've got a couple of pals who are QPR, mate, and they are in meltdown. They're so shit. But it's really good. Savile all day long. Good evening, Ricky. Hope you're well. Or Creswell, I would have said. It's in our hands now. We can't fuck up. No, we can't. Ryan Leonard and Charlie Creswell. Ryan Leonard was great yesterday.
Yeah, he was. He really was. It's going to be unfortunate because he's going to be the one that misses out for Billy Mitchell. But that's why you have a squad. That's why when Mitchell's not been there, Leonard's had to step up, and I think he has.
Yeah. So we're getting quite a few for Savile, Creswell, Lenny and Savile, man of the match for me. Thoroughly thought they were immense. Okay, Alex, you can't have 2 man in the match. You can only have 1. Who are you going with? Potter to Spurs. They love an ex-Chelsea manager. Charlie Creswell is our future captain if we can sign him. I don't think that's far from the truth there, mate. Do you think we'll miss Creswell now as he's injured? I think we will miss him if he's not playing. But again, I don't think we really fully understand everything. Yeah, I agree with you, Ricky. I think they will. Christ, we caught up with the comments. Do you know if Fleming's injured because of that landing on his neck head? I've not seen anything yet. Have you?
No, but at the end of the game, I didn't spot this, as I was there with my dad, and he noticed that one of the players went up to Fleming, went to put his arm around him, and Fleming sort of pushed him away and was sort of gesturing that his shoulder, he was struggling with it. And if that's the case, he's only got 4 days or so to I don't know, but and with Cresswell on the subject, I think I've missed Cresswell. He's been really, really good, but his replacement will be our club captain. It shouldn't impact us as much as what there's been a lot of talk about it and stuff. It's Sean Hutchinson coming back in. Cresswell will be a miss because he's been very good, but you've got to back Hutchinson to be able to come in and perform at the level that he can. He at this stage of the season, he is do or die. And I think he would, like Cresswell, would put his body on the line to get us over the line.
Yeah. Yeah. Saville, again, Alex says it's Saville for his challenge. Do you know what? I'm going to need to do this soon in a fucking touch screen. I think I'm going to have to invest in a touch screen laptop so I can just go pop, pop.
Put that one. Oh, I'm just going to put this one back on the screen.
Since Long has been in the team, we've looked more solid. I think he's one of the best keepers in the Championship. I think we need to read the comments out to a degree, because if you're listening on podcast, you'll be going, what the fucking hell did he say? I can't understand. So, yeah, we'll give that. So, yeah. What's your thoughts on that then, Stephen?
I agree. I saw the other day, and I don't want to come on to the opinions just yet, but one of the things that I saw off the back of that was that Long is only hated because he's not Bart, and everybody loved Bart. And to an extent, I think that's true. I think there's the people that loyalty that people they want to see Bart in goal. But I actually think if George Long could just come out and catch the ball rather than punch it, he would be top drawer. But other than that, he's been very solid, very solid.
Yeah. There's another good question for you. If Cresswell and Fleming injured, who comes in on Friday?
Hutchinson and Romain Esse for me. I'd play Esse just off of Bradshaw. I think he's capable to do it. And if you didn't want to give him that responsibility of filling Fleming's boots, you put Honeyman just off of Bradshaw and you play Esse out wide. That's what I would do.
Yeah. It's great to have a backup in Hutchinson if Cresswell is out. Absolutely, that's what you just said. Hutchinson was at fault for the goal against Luton. Fuck me, people don't forgive, do they? Just in case you haven't actually seen Cresswell's injury from Saturday, that's what he posted on his Instagram. I think, to be fair, that's the same eye he got done when he got kicked in the face, wasn't it?
I can't remember. It might be. He's taken a bit of a battering since he's been with us, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Andy Carroll got hold of him a couple of times against Reading a few weeks ago and all.
Yeah. It's quite good with him sitting there. It looks as if he's actually getting involved in the show, doesn't it? But, contractual abuse, I'll take that off and then go from there. So, yeah, what's your thoughts? Any more comments you have on the game? And also, he's injured, mate. Alex is injured. The Irish lad is injured and he could be out.
It's groin, isn't it? I think it's groin.
Yeah, he could be out for a while. The rumour has it. He possibly might not even come in this season. But speaking to people in the know, they reckon that he's probably going to take 2 seasons before he's going to come on to something. But he is a prospect in the making. But again, Now, I don't know who you are, Grassroots TV. I don't know. Are you Millwall Grassroots TV, or are you just a football fan as whole who found us? Let us know that, because it's an interesting. This is an interesting point. I don't think, and it's probably something what we'll come on to a bit later on where we talk to it in more detail, but I don't think I can remember a manager at Millwall being more positive about potential getting into the playoffs than what Gary is and the team are currently. I think it's an absolute breath of fresh air that we're looking that way rather than looking that way. Because the problem is that for many a year, we've always had, we need 50 points and we're safe. We need 50 points and we're safe. And we're all thinking, we fucking need 80 points. Let's go for the playoff place. And if we fail it and we finish 7th, great. But let's not look at, keeping ourselves out of relegation, because that should be the least of our worries. We should be playing well enough to sit higher up the table. And what's your thoughts on there? Because then I'm going to throw a question at you.
I think Gary Rowett has come in and I reckon he's just got pissed off with having the underdog title thrown at him. He didn't take a job. He did not take a job in the Championship to just sit around mid-table. He come in to try and improve us. That's what he does. Burton was a project to a certain extent. I think Birmingham was a project. Admittedly, he had them in the playoffs, but that was a whole different story with the owner. And I think Rowett is really starting to understand the fans and the club. I really think he's something's clicked with him. He's realised he's got to get the fans on board. He's realised how important the fans are and what difference that makes. And there's no surprise that since the message has changed from Rowett, we sold out Luton, we sold out Reading, we sold out QPR, we sold out West Brom. No doubt on the bank holiday Monday, we're probably going to take an army up to Hull, which is miles away. But it's because Rowett, his mindset is, as you say, a breath of fresh air. It is positive. And I know people will say he's maybe not necessarily as positive on the pitch. And there was a couple of fans around me yesterday saying, "Oh, Rowett should be going for it. We should be doing this and we should be doing that." This was in the 85th minute. In the 85th minute, you would take a point away from home anywhere against anyone in the top 8 or 9. You would. So I think there's still a little bit of with him that people think he's negative, but I don't think he is where the club's concerned. I think he is trying to drive us forward. He is taking us forward off the field. He is taking us forward on the field. And I think people really should, and that, as if they haven't already, should start getting behind him.
Yeah.
There's a comment for you there, Mickey.
Yeah, I know. I saw that in a minute. And I've got a feeling I think I know who it is now. But yeah, listen, the question to you about Rowett and the question to everyone watching is, did Gary think that was Gary's impression of us more of the stereotypical press bullshit, what's always written about us? And now he sees that as a fan base, we pretty much probably give well over 100 grand a year to charities, what never gets fucking reported. We are pretty much a family that, we will support you if you understand us. And I think now that with him being forced to play the back four instead of the back five, I know we rank on about it, but it is a fact that now it's getting the fans on. There's a feel good factor around Millwall. I still don't think, and maybe we come to it, in one of the other sessions coming on, but I still don't think that we've got the Millwall crowds what we want there. We want that horrible, nasty, bastard fucking crowd what we had at Huddersfield and all of that, where, we'll talk about what Neil says in a little while. But we need that crowd rather than full of tourists. But, you can't have it both ways. But I think that's pretty much what's dawned on him. He's seen those full houses. He's starting to feel what happens. Once he gets to Wembley, if we get to Wembley, he'll suddenly understand what 40, 50,000 Millwall fans sound like. And yeah, I'd probably bring a new pair of trousers if I was you, Gary, because you will shit a brick, mate. We are probably the loudest fans out there.
I don't think he was influenced by the media and the press. I think what Chris has just said there, if he thought it was as bad, he probably wouldn't have taken the job. And I won't come on. I'm going to mention the Neil Harris night, but I won't go into too much detail because we'll come on to that. But Neil Harris made a point of saying that obviously he was a Millwall man, so he took the job. He understood it. He understood it from day one. He knew what it took to be successful at Millwall. Gary Rowett isn't a Millwall fan. It is a job. It is his job. He is paid to manage the football club. But now I think it's as you say, the full house is the instance where we did a minute clap, didn't we, for a little girl a few weeks. I can't remember the girl. I can't remember the family's name, but they did a clap for her, and they've done other stuff. You have all the charity events that go on, and I think Rowett's thought to himself, I think he's buying into it. I'm not saying he's becoming a Millwall fan. He's not. When he leaves, it'll just be another job. But I think he's appreciating just what a unique club we are, and he's buying into it.
Right, let's get through some of these comments before we end this section and move on to some other topics. Don't think West Brom fans will sing Millwall getting battered song to us.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We're 5 points ahead of them and we're in the playoffs and they're not. It's a ridiculous song.
Yeah. Is Millwall. Will Billy and Tyler be back on Friday? Is Tyler fit again? I think he is, isn't he? But possibly.
I think Mitchell probably. I don't know about Fury, but I think Mitchell will be in the squad.
Could be the best kept secret. Suddenly put them on and then go from there. This is an interesting one from Alex. And again, I'd like to get other people's views on this who are watching us along, get involved in the comments. In fact, do you know what? We will post that in a minute. I will post a link. So if you want to come on the show, you're more than welcome to come on. If you don't want to come on, listen, it's a bit like we use this like Twitter Spaces. If you want to come on, just don't switch your camera on. Or if you want to come on with the video, switch your camera on. If not, just don't switch your camera on and we'll just get your voice. It's easy to do. When you come into the studio and you click in, it will say, do you want to authorise video and mic? You can just authorise mic. Don't do video. We're not fussed. Same rules apply. You pretty much say whatever you want. Just don't libel anyone. And if you're coming on to be a bell end, we do have a dump button and we can drop you faster than Katie Price's knickers. So there is no issue there at all. So is there a danger Essie could be just an impact stub and not a starter?
No, not for me. He's 17 years old. I think Rowett and the club are being really cautious with him, which I don't understand how Rowett could. This is it. One thing I would say with him is that he said in an interview before the international break that he expected SA to be a starter for him next season. Yeah. What is the difference between starting him now and starting him next season? There isn't.
I mean, I've heard a rumour about that, and I think we've talked about this on the group. There is a rumour that he was signed up because potentially they can see him being snapped up by a Premiership club, which makes sense because we don't want to be done like we did with Lovelace. So we get him signed, get him a few games under his belt. That way, there'd be a much bigger fee for him, and that'll be, we'll have to wait and see which way it goes. But yeah, I think he's going to have a regular place in the team. I don't think he's going to be an impact sub, but I think at the moment is being used for that because of the legs of the players. I think it makes sense that, the teams are playing a lot of football. All teams are playing a lot of football at the moment, and bringing him on at 60, 65 minutes, all of a sudden he can put, he can scare the life out. You imagine bringing him and Tyler on, at 60, 65 minutes, all of a sudden he's going to put the fear of life into defences. Do you know what I mean? Neil Harris's favourite saying, we need 50 points. Absolutely. There's an interesting one. Christopher Ballard. Any relation to Ballard? Because I know there's a few that follow our channel. Are you or have you been a Rowett out? And has that changed? Or are you still a Rowett out? And just think that he's, biding his luck at the moment. I'll be interested if anyone will come out and say it. Then yeah, it'll be good. Grassroots, I see your comment, fella. I'm not going to put it up. Don't think I need to because it's more directed personally to me than anyone else. And hope Gary Rowett will show more courage. Other than that, great manager. Can you elaborate on what you mean by more courage? Do you mean playing more attacking, or what do you mean? If Millwall go up, do you call Gary Rowett a legend? Oh, that we'll come back to that in the next part because there's a couple of legend conversations coming up on that one. So we'll do that in a minute.
Also, without spoiling anything, that could also be the comment of this so far. But we'll come on to that. We'll come on to that.
Yeah. I think he's in the circle now, not just looking in.
Yeah, I think so. Rowett. I think that is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah. I think if he thought we were as bad as the press make us out to be, he wouldn't have taken the job. to be fair, I think he likes a challenge, and he could see the players we had and the potential, I think. So, yeah. Don't worry, that horrible atmosphere will be coming starting Friday against Luton. Hope so. I am there with the family. The board and manager are gradually changing the mindset of the club. There is a fine line to be what? Horrible cunts? Is it a guess? Is it a guess? Gary Rowett saw us as a stepping stone in the beginning, in my opinion. Had a really good, tough time during COVID, playing behind closed doors. But since having us back, Gary has said, quote, I think the world of them. Never been big on Ryan Leonard. I read that as rugby league for some reason. I really don't know why, and I'm not a rugby man. But yeah, hey ho. Never been big on Ryan Leonard, but be hard to drop him for Billy Mitchell. There's another question for you lot watching. Would, as an ex-player, Rowett fuck off to Leicester before Friday? Wow.
If Gary Rowett's got any sense, Leicester are nowhere near what they were. Nowhere near. Their bubble was massively burst. And I think if you want to swap a potential playoff push for a relegation battle, he'd be an idiot.
I think it would say a lot about the man if he did that. Phil the Den, yeah. Support that. I was Rowett out when he was playing 5 at the back. The draws were killing. Yeah, we loved that. We started putting out the old Jaws poster every time he got a draw. That was quite comical. Should Watmore get a starting place? Right, we're going to carry that one on after this. Basically, we're going to kick in from the end of this one now and go into part 2 of the show in a second. I just need to find a video I'm going to play. Which video is... Have I got the right video? I think I have. If not, it's going to be a mistake. We're going to drop out. Basically, the next video you see is of a podcast who is up for the same awards we are. This is from a class in Wolves, and I think I might have played the wrong one. You might have to ad lib here. You might have to ad lib. Let's just see if it's the right one or the wrong one here now. But it's a podcast run by a teacher using autistic kids, what he teaches, and they basically interview famous people and stuff, and he's up for an award, and he's just going to tell us a bit about it. I said I'll give him a plug, and hopefully some people can vote for him. Let's click this and see whether or not it's right or wrong. It's wrong. Carry on. Talk for a minute, Stephen. I'm going to find the right one and then come back to it.
On the subject of Mickey talking about the awards, we are still up for an award ourselves in the soccer category. Obviously, it's a worldwide award. I'm sure we'll post a link into the chat so you guys can drop us a vote. We're up against Sky Sports, Talk Sport, all kinds of huge footballing shows. But if you haven't voted for us already, or if you've got a second email account or 55 email accounts and want to vote for us multiple times, we'll get the link out. Obviously, it's been it's quite cool to be nominated. It'd be even cooler to win, which we may not, but if you can vote for us, that would be very much appreciated, and we'll get the link out.
Yeah, we are up against Sky Sports, BT, etc., etc. So yeah, we don't really stand a chance, but hopefully you will give us a vote. The link's there. Right, we're going to click on this video, and then we'll be back straight after this. It's about 40-50 seconds. Have a watch and see what you think. It's a good thing what he's doing, mate. Good thing.
I'm here at the home of Wolves, the Millennium, and I just want to say thank you so much for giving the TWS Sports Podcast a shout out on your podcast. Really, really appreciate it. So a little bit about the TWS Sports Podcast. We're based here in Wolverhampton, and we're a podcast which is hosted by autistic students from a special school here at Wolverhampton. And each week we chat to famous sportsmen and women. We've had some great guests on, such as Connor Cody, Matt Letitia, Harry Redknapp, Sam Allardyce, Sir Clive Woodward, Nasser Hussain, Steve Waugh, lots of other great sportsmen and women. So the podcast is hosted by autistic students. So the podcast was set up to teach our students key skills such as communication, develop confidence, develop social skills. So each week they host a podcast and speak to our guests and do a great job. So we're up for a Sports Podcast Award, like you mentioned. So if you could head over to the Sports Podcast Awards and look at the best equality and social impact category and drop us a vote, we will really appreciate it. So please check out the TWS Sports Podcast. Thank you.
There we go. Just look, I said I'll give him a plug. It's a cracking incentive what he's doing, and a cracking idea what he's doing, and it's great. So let's kick in with part 2 then. We're going to lead with talking about the Neil Harris evening we went to this week, and then we'll give you time to think pretty much about if Gary Rowett gets us promoted. We'll come back to this on part 3. If Gary Rowett was to get us promoted, would that make him a legend? And also we'd like to get your thoughts on Jed Wallace as well, what he did on Saturday, and also is he a legend in your eyes, or just done a job? I think we'll express our views there in a bit. But Wednesday night last week, myself, Stephen, and the whole of the pod team, we went and saw Neil Harris do an evening with, yes, it was in the middle of nowhere. And the reason for that is that they're trying to make friends in Kent. So they raised, I think, about $4,500 for a local food bank, wasn't it? About that?
Yeah, it was
about $2,500 on the auction. There was a couple of personal items from Neil's personal collection what he auctioned off, and a raffle and everything else. Personally, I would say it was a great evening. Just so you know, I'll put the link if you want to come on here in part 3. The link is there now. So if you fancy coming on to part 3, then just click the link and we'll get you on. So yeah, Stephen, your views on Wednesday night with Neil Harris. Should we just come on with the prize what we've been given first? Otherwise, we're not doing our due diligence really there, are we?
Yeah. Before we get into that, Mickey's got a Neil Harris inspired prize to show you all.
So we got a print on this. It'll be, you can either have it in an A4, I'm told, or an A5. It's a new company starting up called Pitchside Prints. They are on Instagram. They are on Twitter. Give them a follow. They do football players. They are going to be doing a lot of Millwall players. Obviously, if you are lucky enough to win, you will have this without the logos across. But I know how you lot work. That if I put it up without watermarks, you'd save the screen and basically click it all in, and you'll be beating them to their job. So we've decided that what we're going to do is we're going to look and pick the best comment of the evening, and you, that lucky person, will be winning this print for your office desk, front room, bedroom wall, wherever you're going to want to put it, mate. But that print is available to you for posting the best comments. So come on in, tell us about Wednesday night. What was your views? How did you think it was run?
I thought it was run quite well. I thought the questioning initially it was Max, wasn't it? Max McLennan from the club asking Neil the questions was really good, insightful. He spoke about all of his career, manager, player, even obviously he's at Gillingham now, isn't he? He touched a little bit on that, which I thought was important to do because it was right. It was right to do that. I know it was a Millwall evening, but he is still a manager. He is still a professional, so it was right to comment on that. He was honest. I think he was and open with every conversation. He spoke very passionately and very again, honest about the time and the decision to leave the club as a manager. I thought that section was absolutely brilliant. You know, he knew his time was up. He had no interest in the financial gain. He wasn't waiting to be sacked. The board tried to, for those, there might be a few that were there, so I'm obviously repeating this, but the board tried to change Harris's mind. They tried to speak it, you know, to get him to stay. And one of the sort of terms for him leaving was that he helped find a new manager, which we all kind of knew that he'd spoke to Gary Rowett anyway, but it was the board that asked him to get involved in that process. But he spoke of obviously the cancer and the goal at Watford and things like that.
I mean,
but
we can't obviously go into too much because I don't know if the club's going to release a video or whatever. But what we can do is that, luckily enough, three of our team were lucky enough to ask questions that night, including you.
Yes.
So, what was your question to Neil, and what was your reply? We're more than happy to. We can speak about that, and we can speak about the other guys. So yeah, what was your question, and what did he give you as a reply?
My question was around Steve Morrison because he spoke about him very well, I thought, as a friend of his, and I asked Neil what it was like to go from being a teammate of Morrison to being effectively his boss, and did Morrison make it easy for him, or was it tricky or difficult? And Harris was honest. He said that Morrison and Tony Craig, who also fits into that category, were his generals, his changing room generals. They run the dressing room. They sorted out all issues for him. They made it easy for him. So I think Harris, he's a sort of bloke, isn't he? He's honest and upfront. And even though they were his mates, he was the gaffer, and they kind of did what he needed them to do.
I think the good question from us, again, one of the questions from our pod, what asked the question was, Omar asked a very tricky first question. And that question was, why did Tony Craig get the armband at Wembley over Morrison? And I thought that it was answered very honestly.
Yeah. The
Can you
answer.
tell us what the answer was?
Yeah, I was going to say, for the benefit of the listeners, he didn't actually think about it, did he? He just thought,
No.
Craig's club captain, so this is the kind of protocol. It was only, I think, after he realised that, he said, didn't he, that Morrison's boy had been excited to walk out with Morrison at Wembley in the build-up to the game. And it was only then he realised that he had a little bit of an issue. Now, Harris said, in his own words, that he didn't think that the two of them didn't fall out. There wasn't a rift. There wasn't an argument, which, okay, fair enough. Like, we take his word for it. But he did say that Morrison, it did have an impact on Steve Morrison because Morrison didn't play well that day.
Yeah.
And then obviously the next year went back and obviously scored.
That was an interesting point what you said about there, didn't he? You said that Morrison didn't play well that game and he knew he didn't. And that was basically, when they got there the following year, that was all the prep they needed, was that they didn't want that feeling of losing again.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing, because some of the things what he came out with was, one thing he came out with was two bits. One about Huddersfield, but we'll come back to that one. But about, as a footballer, you know before a ball's even kicked in the morning of a game, you know whether or not you're going to win that or not. You have that feeling. And he said that he knew we were going to win that second one. And, the players all knew, and they were going to go out and do it. And they did go out and do it and won. And he also says that you can smell at Millwall when evil's in the air.
Yeah.
And he rates the Huddersfield playoff game as one of the best atmospheres at the Den he's ever been involved in.
The comment that he made, actually, that I found really amusing, was he said he looked in the crowd and it was all adults. He said he couldn't see kids. Yeah. He couldn't see kids. It was just all adults basically screaming it. And I think he said, didn't he, that he looked up at the clock after 25 seconds, the ball went out for a throw-in, and the Huddersfield defender went, "Oh, can you go and get the ball, mate?" Because one of the Millwall fans had it in their hand. And Harris went, "Go and get yourself." And they didn't want it. And we knew that. I mean, if you look back at that game now, you can see the Huddersfield players just froze. They were completely done before a ball had been kicked. But it's amazing to hear it from a player's perspective, just how much that atmosphere meant to him, and how much the players knew they were walking out knowing they were going to win that game.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do hope that the club puts it out as a video or something. You know, whether or not they put it on their TV, put it behind a paywall, or whatever, because it's an interesting insight. I know they have the mentality sometimes at the club of going, well, you know, it's there for the people who paid and we don't want it. But, you know, at some point it'll be good to have clips from it, because I think there was some good stories there and everything else what come. So without ruining too much, great night. If any more come up, make sure you attend.
Absolutely.
You know, there are some good Millwall memorabilia bits on auction and raffles and stuff. And also, it was good. Should we crack back on with these comments before they kill us? Because there's going to be a mountain of them. So, right, if you want to get involved with the Rowett, if Rowett gets us into the Premiership, will he become a legend? And we start again going through these comments. Should Watmore get a starting place? What's your views on that one, Stephen?
Before yesterday, yes. After yesterday, not so sure. I don't know. There's something about him that someone said in the ground yesterday, and a supporter that was near me said that Duncan Watmore reminds them of a bit of Jed Wallace, all hustle and bustle and wanting to get involved and wanting to do something, but never really knowing if he was actually going to. I think it's a little bit harsh on Jed, because Jed did have that little bit of quality that did see him score quite a few goals for us. But Watmore, I don't know if he's best off starting or an impact sub. But after yesterday, I would perhaps take him out of the firing line from Friday. Maybe bring him on, but I wouldn't start him.
Okay, Mark. Good Friday. The team will need us as the 12th man. Make some noise. Couldn't fucking disagree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more there. Okay, no, I can't get the words out. More courage for Gary Rowett. Starting with more attacking formations, making substitutes early. Essay. Yeah. Rowett's reputation has taken a big knock. Need to clock up some achievement with us to salvage it before moving on again. But loves it here. Gaza London, you the same Gaza with the website? Just thought I'd ask that. I hope he will have learnt from his Stoke experience before jumping ship again. I think you're probably right. I think Leicester will go for Potter. I think Leicester will go for Potter, potentially. Stephen, you should have asked him about that frame team photo.
Yeah. For those that, without spoiling it, Chris and I had a conversation about a piece of memorabilia that he has. Go and check out his Who Are You? And you'll be able to understand what that comment relates to. And yes, Chris, I should have asked that question, but I completely forgot.
Maybe tell me off air, and I'll ask it, because I am going to see him again soon for something else. So yeah, Gary Rowett and the squad will be legends if we go up. Will they though? All of them? That's see. For me, legends are thrown around so fucking easy. Let's jump into it. Right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jed Wallace is not a fucking legend. Never will be, never has been. He was a good player and he brought some moments of absolute greatness to the team when he was playing for us. But he got paid a shitload of money to do a job. But he's definitely not legend material. Stephen, agree or disagree?
100% agree.
Excellent. If you disagree with us, let us know in the comments. But I do think it's an age thing. If you're under 25, I'll go with. I think you probably will see him as a legend. But those above,
I think,
probably won't see him as a legend.
The word I would use for Jed Wallace, I would say he's a bit more of a hero, a maverick.
You see, I posted that
not
yesterday.
A legend. Not a legend.
I posted that yesterday, hero or villain. And, you know, people going, well, he's not a hero, he's not a villain, he's you know, he is what it is. But I don't know. We'll come on to that in a bit when we do the Twitter stuff in a little while. If Gary Rowett gets us promoted and keeps us in the Premiership, Gary Rowett will become a Millwall legend. Yeah. A legend, not automatically. Is George Graham a Millwall legend? Rowett similar to him? I would say George Graham isn't a Millwall legend. I think he put the process in place, but then jumped ship to Arsenal, didn't he? And Dockett's personally, yeah, I wouldn't say. Well, you know, throw it back out to you. Some of the older guys. Is George Graham a legend? Do you think George Graham's a legend, Stephen?
A little bit before my time, I'm afraid.
Fucking nicely batted out there, mate. Nicely batted out.
I'm going to leave that to the comment section.
When we go up, I still won't like him, but you can't argue with his success with a low budget. No, you can't. Oh, okay, I thought it was, Gaz. Yeah, those of you who wondered why I asked that question, there's a website called Millwall History. Find it on Google. We'll post a link in the description, possibly. But Gary is worked on it for years and years, and has put in a hell of a lot of work into it. And if you want to find out anything about Millwall history, Millwall past players, stats, scores, you name it, it's on there. And he has put a hell of a lot of work and effort into doing that, and considerably a lot of hard-earned time and money, I think, has probably gone into it to maintain it. But it is a fantastic site, and check it out if you haven't already. Just Google Millwall History, you'll see it come up. But it is a great website. We go on there and get bits and pieces from it. So yeah, it's a great website to use. There we go, Gaz. Plug for you. If we go up, what's the odds Wallace comes back?
No.
I don't think the club will want him, to be honest. And I don't think him and Rowett get on. I think he feels a bit hard done by. You know, depending what the rumours are, what you believe and what you don't. But I think that there was more of a falling out. Why he left, more so because allegedly we offered him the same money. I don't know if we did or we didn't. I don't really care. He left for pastures new, and that's it as far as I'm concerned. He's gone. Oh, go on, Steve. Click through those comments. I need to find my charger.
I just need to find out where we actually.
Otherwise, we won't have a show.
Oh, there we go. If we go up, how many of the current team are signing their own transfer request? I don't think any of the players would want to leave if we're
go up.
Jed never got us Prem. KO for the goal that took us to the FA.
Come back to that one, Alex. Hang on one sec. Come back. Just let us know what you mean on there. Are you saying that the current team will want to stay, or are you saying that they'll leave and try to go to another Prem team? Just to let us know. So yeah, go on.
Jed never got us Prem. The thing with that, look, I'll save that for when we come on to Jed Wallace. We'll come back to that one. KO the goal that took us to the cup final. Yeah, modern football makes it much harder for players to become legends. I do agree with that. Just touching back on the Neil Harris thing. Harris made a comment, didn't he, that he said that he hoped someone would break his goal scoring record one day. That comment there is the reason why I don't think that will happen, or it will take something exceptional for it to happen. Because if anyone's any good, they get bought. Someone comes in for them, don't they?
Can I be controversial now? I'm going to put my Joe hat on, right? And I'm going to be controversial.
Comments, throw pelters. Just get ready.
Is Cahill a legend? Yes, he scored that goal. But don't forget he wanted to leave, and we sold him for no money. because he wore down his contract and he wanted to go for bigger and better things.
I'm handing in my resignation at the end of this show.
I'm just asking, listen, I'm not going to give you my view on it. You know, I mean, the only view I will say is that people say never meet your heroes. So, you know, leave that there. But honest question, is Tim Cahill a legend from the modern day era?
Can I just say on that, the year that Cahill come back, I did the end of season awards, and I was talking to Tim and stuff, and you said they never meet your heroes. Tim Cahill was an absolute gentleman. He was great to talk to. So, yeah, I mean, my era, my generation, Neil Harris and Tim Cahill are two players that I'm sure there'll be other supporters out there that might disagree, but I'd say from my time following the club, those two are legends. They are, both of them are just absolute legends.
The only legend is Neil Harris.
No, it can't.
I think Tim Cahill was a cracking player, but I agree with Baz. I think Neil Harris, yes. Tim Cahill, definitely Hall of Famer, definitely hero. But I don't know about legend. I really don't. Alex, we need 6 or 7 quality players to keep us up. Jed, an icon for the younger generation, but not a legend. Well said, Dan. Well said. Evening, chaps. Been here since the start. Gary Rowett won't be a legend. Bold comment. But good evening, Pete. Good evening, Big E. Pleasure meeting you. And spending the evening with you on Wednesday night. So, yes. Jed Wallace is a fraud to all us bald buggers. Don't disagree. Baz says no.
That might have been about Jed being the legend.
It's Tim Cahill, yeah.
No, that was Jed. That was before that.
GG no. I don't know who GG no is.
George Graham.
George Graham. No, yeah. Graham kept us up and started the foundation for top league. Yes, Danny. But is he a legend in your eyes? George Graham was a legend for Millwall, but not a very nice man. I don't know why. I just had visions of Monty Python on then. You know what I mean? He's not the Messiah. He's a naughty boy. Jimmy Carter and Paul Ifill, legends before Jed. Absolutely agree. Totally agree that Jed not a legend.
Hold on a minute. I feel a legend. Paul, did you just say?
No. Richard didn't say Ifill's a legend. What he said was Jimmy Carter and Paul Ifill, fine. Legends before Jed.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I was going to say if you're calling Paul
Richard,
Ifill
do you want to come back to? You weren't saying that Jimmy Carter and Paul Ifill are legends. You're just saying that they would be legends before Jed. That's the way I read it. Totally agree. Jed is not a legend, nowhere near it. Ricky, again, if you want to find out about Ricky, he's got a show on our YouTube channel, which is Who Are You? Where he speaks about his time following Millwall. Jed is not a legend, just a very good player for us. Totally agree. How many of the current team could play in the Prem? That's a good question, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. In about 3 or 4 minutes, to be fair. What makes someone a legend?
What's interesting is there's a quote. There's someone that's commented in a little while that you're going through, and again, we'll come back to that. What makes someone a legend? Keep going through the comments.
This one's funny. Archer got his championship. He's no legend. Look, you see? Cahill, not a legend. Yeah, Cahill is a legend, but Alex Ray is a greater Millwall legend. I agree with that. Mate, I'm loving these comments today.
There's another one coming. We'll come back to this, but can we just put this one on the screen? Mark is now this could be a good shout. That's the one.
Oh, fucking hell, really? No.
That's the
No,
one.
I'm not a legend, mate.
But you were found
mate.
on the board. For anyone that doesn't know, Mickey was found
I'm
on
in
the
Millwall
board.
history. I'll always be in Millwall history for being the guy who's second fan on the board and then fucked out for anyone else. I got it cancelled. But no, Shona's doing a fantastic job for it now. And good luck going on maternity leave, Shona. So, yeah, that's proper framey, that is. I'm glad you like the show, though, Mark. So, yeah, we're doing something. And make sure you stay with us next season because we've got some more ideas and more shows to come. Let's just keep it like that for now. The old First Division promotion team are all legends. I think this team would equal at least... I don't know if they were all legends, to be fair. I think they were good Hall of Famers and they go down in Millwall history, but I don't know if they were all legends. I met Harris and such a lovely bloke, my hero. I love Neil. I think Neil's great. When I was found on the board, again, sorry, just in case those of you don't know. Obviously, and I've done the AMS and all that. And I said, look, I put so much time and effort into this. I just want something back for my kids. Is there something where I can get what money can't buy? What I can make, my daughter on her 11th birthday, so 5 years ago now. Is there something I can have where I can take her and just make me look good? So the club let me take my daughter to Calmont Road when they were there training to have breakfast with her. She had breakfast with the players. She sat on the team. Neil Harris, Dave Livermore, all the players were absolutely fantastic. Gave her a signed ball, gave her a shirt, gave her a pen, told her to go round and get whoever she wanted to sign it, and they were under orders that they had to sign it for from Harris. We went through where they were getting their massage, their training, their fitness, watched the game, watched training sessions outside, everything else, had a bit of lunch and then fucked off. And yeah, she still don't forget that, even now. And it was one of those, I think, well, I won't forget. It was fantastic. So, yeah, I'll come back to a Harris story in a minute when I was found on the board of another thing that was hilarious. Herlock is a legend. Yeah.
Wait till you come on to the opinions later then. Do you remember that one about Terry Herlock? Did you see it?
Kale is a legend. Yeah, in your eyes. No, Kale is not a legend and was very close to joining Palace before Everton. Now, let's address that, okay? Ricky, sorry to burst your bubble there. That was complete bullshit. And it's been said publicly by, I think on a show I did ages ago with Jeff, and I think it's also been said by possibly Simon Jordan, and I think it's been said. But basically what happened was Theo thought that Tim Cahill was brilliant and that there was going to be a bidding war for him. Everton wanted him, and what they tried to do is create a bidding war, allegedly, just in case their lawyers are watching. And Theo spoke to his friend up the road at Palace and said, make out you're putting a bid in. And there was a rumour and some newspaper articles saying that they put a bid in. And Everton never come back in with hiring up the bid. And no one else come in. And it was pretty much, if we don't sell him to Everton, we're going to get nothing for him. So they sold him to Everton, I think, for about 1.3 million, which, in my eyes, was a fucking steal for what he went on and done for them. And yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, no, there was a bidding war created or potentially created, allegedly. But Palace were never in the running, so I'm told, for Cahill. It was just more theatre and smoke and mirrors for it. Morrison. Morrison is not a legend. What's that?
A legend.
A legend?
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me. Good player, but not a legend. Again, listen, if you're listening to this, come in, let us know what you think. Is Morrison legend? Not a legend. And again, I think it's more age, to be fair with a lot of these. George Graham, not a legend, absolutely. Kale, not a legend, excellent. Keith Stevens got to be up there, 100%. Even not for what he did on the pitch, but just for the way that the club fucking treated him. He legend, yeah, definitely. Right, where are we? Mickey Simpson and the boys at the podcast, yeah. No, just before. It's really hard getting through.
That was in relation to that was the fella that asked, who's mentioned about I feel and Thingy being a legend before Jed, not actually being legends.
Yeah, no, just before, yeah. Jed has had his good days, but more bad days. Very hot and cold. I always buy the crisps before every Millwall TV game, so I am a Millwall legend.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say.
Oh, we have the best fans in the world. Chris, you are a Millwall fan, aren't you? Hopefully, so yeah. It depends, Chris. Your question depends on this, okay? Whether or not you are the Millwall crisp legend.
I know what you're going to say.
What flavour crisps do you buy? And your answer will depend on whether or not you're a legend or not.
And also, what type of crisp is it?
Yes.
What type of crisp and what flavour?
I mean, he says there Millwall before every Millwall TV game. So, is he watching on stream or is he just watching on normal telly? So
or
we can deviate. Yeah, we can deviate whether or not he's overseas and go, and then we go from there. I've got an idea of overseas as well, and I'll let you know on that one. A legendary player should play at least 10 years at a club. Ideally, all his career, perhaps breaking some historic records, and to identify with the spirit of the club as a person. That's a good way to be able to do a player. But Tony Craig only played 9 years, didn't he? He didn't get a testimonial, did he?
I mean, I'm sure if my dad's still watching this, or any of our viewers, did Terry O'Lock play for us for 10 years? Do you know what I mean? Like the thing is, right? The best way to answer this, you'd need a fan from maybe the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, noughts, 10s, whatever, because everybody's going to have a different answer. Like I know for a fact, I never got to see Teddy Sheringham in a Millwall shirt. I only know what he did through history and what he did after leaving Millwall and playing for England, Spurs or whatever.
But is he a legend?
You tell me. I never saw him play, but I can't answer that question. But
is Teddy Sheringham a legend or is he a Judas? Let's see where that comes back. There's levels: iconic, historic, heroic, and legendary. Now that, Daily Millwall, is a great subject for a show. Maybe we just do 2 hours next Sunday of working through who goes where. Cripps, Kitchener, Rhino, Harris, legends. Yeah. And thoughts go out to Kitchener's family. Obviously, it was 11 years on Thursday since we lost that great legend. Rest in peace. You are 100% a Millwall legend. Rhino, Harris are probably the only modern day legends. Oh, look, Sheila Bear. Got a lady. Good. Welcome. The same could be said about Gary Rowett. He's paid a lot of money and his job to get the club into the Premier League via the playoffs, so I don't know if that makes him a legend. Absolutely agree with you. Keith Stevens is a legend. I think Neil Harris is a legend and top goal scorer for Millwall. Yep. Did Harris pay for her toast? I don't know. She didn't have to pay for her toast, but it was after Theo. So it was when Kavanagh was here. So I think breakfast and food and everything else was brought back. But no, she didn't have to pay for them. No. I once had a Legends boots in my front room for a week and a half, and my girl tried them on. I had Jimmy Abdu's boots. we done a prize when we were AMS. We done a prize to win a pair of tickets to the end of season dinner, and a couple of Freddie Jackson. I don't know if he's watching or he's on Twitter, but him and his sister come, and he bid 400 quid for these boots and won these boots. They were the boots what Jimmy wore at Wigan, or again in the Wigan game, and we had those at home. And they could have definitely done with a wash. Let's put it that way. They if you took we took them out of the glass thing. I don't even know if Freddie knows we've done this, but yeah, we took them out of the glass case, and my daughter tried them on. They wouldn't fit for me; they were too small for me. But yeah, my daughter tried them on. I've got a picture of them somewhere, but yeah, it's one of those where it was a picture. But I would have Steve Morrison as a Millwall legend. Yeah, I don't know. His goal, yeah, with the playoff final. Don't know. Neil Harris done the same with my son. Right, why you said that, right? I was at the training ground getting some bits and pieces signed, and there was a guy there with his and getting players' autographs as they come out and go to their car or whatever. And I said to him, listen, I said, Neil's in there and that. I said, I can see if he'll let. Anyway, Neil come out and I said, Neil, his boy's here. Any chance he can get some player signatures? He said, Neil's gone. Yeah, no worries, come on. And he said, Mickey, you come with us. And I went, no worries. And his dad went to come. And I've gone like, his dad's gone, oh, right, okay, yeah, no. And he's gone to walk in. Neil Harris just looked him straight in the face and went, not you, fella. I'll take your boy in. You wait here. Mickey's with me, so it'll be all good. Back in a minute. And took his boy. And I said to Neil, I said, why didn't you let his dad come in? I said, like, surely it's better. He said, listen, I'll make the boy remember it. And he said it'll be fine. The boy will have a, cracking, 10 minutes walking around here, meet everyone, he'll be happy. I said, yeah, but why not the dad? I said, surely it'd be nice to have with the both of them. He went, no, he said, I've had dads in here before. He said, and the last dad I brought in started cutting off Archer and another player, and he went like, yeah, no, it's not good for me. It's not good. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, no worries. So that's why the child come in, but the dad didn't. And if that was you, grassroots, and you know what I mean, then you're there. But I still can't go over the way that Neil just looked at, if whoever it was, just looked at him, put his hand up. I went, no, not you, fella. I'll take your boy. My bad. I never knew about that. No worries. Right, Chris Brown. Razor Ruddock should be a legend for just being a fat Millwall lunatic. Have you seen him lately? He's lost 8 stone.
He is looking trim, and he is.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. He's looking very, very trim now. Was born the year the new Den was built, so never saw the glory days. You know, you can go off someone really easily, like what you said the other day in the group chat, and you fucking told us that you were born in 95. Harris is the only legend in my days, in my opinion. Many great and lovable players, but Neil Harris is God. Yeah.
Just to clarify, when we were talking about that, Mickey was offended that the 1990 England shirt was referred to as retro, and there's a few of us in the group that wasn't alive during the 1990 World Cup. So
just bring some context there. Me and Joe are the same age. Me and Joe are both 47, not 59, what some people on here tell me. 57, 59, 47 even. And the rest of these lot are fucking young. I think Chris is the second one who's 34. Happy birthday, Chris, if you're watching back or listening to this. Chris was 34 yesterday, so happy birthday to him.
Ben's 33.
Huh?
Ben's 33. I'm 31. I think Omar's 28.
Yeah. And Kai, who's no longer with us, is 20.
And Alex, Alex?
Alex, I think, is 23.
But to summarise that, Mickey remembers the 1990
bastard.
World Cup and we don't. So.
Technically, if I was old enough and a bit of a goer at an early age, I am old enough to beat all their fucking dads. So, Tony Crowd did get a testimonial for me, for us. Oh, yeah, he did, yeah. But it was a poor attendance. I can't think who it was now.
Brentford.
AC Milan 4-0 up at Napoli. Thanks for that, our roving reporter. giving us La Liga. Thanks for that. No more than half a dozen legends rest Hall of Famers. So come on then, Richard. Give us your 6 legends. But I agree with you. I think there's more Hall of Famers than there are legends. Tony Craig did a testimonial against Brentford. Yes, he did. Teddy was good, but he got stick for being a lazy twat at times. These comments aren't stopping, by the way. I keep thinking we'll get to one and then we'll carry on with a topic, but I'm not getting it. Teddy, legend, we're putting on a Millwall shirt. Such a shame he didn't come back at the end of his career. Allegedly, he didn't come back because we didn't offer his kid the academy, did we? And West Ham did, so that's why he went there instead of us, allegedly. But again, I don't know. John Berylson is a legend.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. As an older Millwall fan, I book Kitch, Cripps, Rhino, Keith Stevens. Rhino, Keith Stevens are the same person, I think. Herlock, Harris off the top of my head. That calibre. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Ian Dawes was one of my favourite back in the day. Saw Kaz the other day doing school run. He's not a legend, but a great player for us. Totally agree. Going back to that, well, I'd done Talk Sport about a year or so ago. Around this time, about a year or so ago. And it was a Saturday morning show and I needed to be on air at 6:30 in the morning. That's fucking commitment for you, isn't it? Speaking to Cass and that, and he promised me live on air that he would come on one of our shows. Be good to get him on this, really, wouldn't it? Do a Q&A with Cass. Sheringham blighted his copybook by going to West Ham. Absolutely. We had Sheringham in his prime. They got him on his last legs. Absolutely. Just look at what Sheringham did once he left us. I'll be 46 in April, so similar age to Mickey. Whee! Wait till you get to 64 and it takes 10 minutes to have a piss. Touch wood. I'm still sleeping through the night. And those of you at a certain age will understand how much of a fucking kick in the bollocks that is to those who ain't. So, yeah, no, I'm all right. JB is an absolute legend. Stephen, we're at the end of the comments. What else do you want to say now? Should we get onto these Twitter things?
Yeah, go on. This was.
All right.
I'm going to take some credit for this, or one of them anyway.
Yeah, you talk for a sec, and I'll get it up. Come, I've just changed the screens around a bit.
So the other day we were coming up with the creative juices at that Millwall podcast were working overtime to try and find ways that we can sort of engage with more fans. We're trying to speak to as many people as possible. And we come up with the idea of asking you guys for your most controversial Millwall opinion. I think Mickey's going to get a picture of exactly what went out. So for those of you that haven't seen it on Twitter, when Mickey puts it up on the screen in the comments, if we can have your most controversial. Now this will be something that you perhaps wouldn't usually say out loud. This isn't something that you'd usually broadcast. It's designed to try and get you to get engaged in conversation with other fans. I'm sure when we get them on the screen, there are some absolutely brilliant opinions, which I'm sure some of you guys will have a lot to say. I think it's just gone up on the screen now. So essentially, the idea is what opinion do you have on Millwall Football Club that would have thousands of angry fans with daggers at you for saying it?
So if we go through the list, obviously some of them there are funny. This would be me if Tyrell Buyuri replaces Romeo Essie on the bench for any of our remaining games this season. I quite actually liked Josh Wright, and all those tweets were a giggle. Why no salad on the burgers for...
Sorry, there's just a quote there that's just come in on the comments of a controversial opinion. The new Den is better than the old Den.
We can block him if you want.
No, I never went. I never went to the old den, so I can't argue that. But I get the feeling that is going to be one that people jump on the back of. But yeah, basically stuff like that. Opinions on things. Before you read any more, Mickey, I don't think you answered this question, and I didn't either. What is your most controversial opinion on Millwall? It can be past, present, or even the future.
I don't know, to be honest. There's a few. What's yours? I'm thinking.
I have two. So I've got one in the present, and I've got one just as a general overview of the club. I think, and I know what you might say to this, but I think that Danny McNamara does get an easy ride, because he's considered as one of our own. And I think that if you look at him and Marlon Romeo in an attacking sense, defensively, McNamara's clear. But in the modern game going forward, I think Danny McNamara gets an easy ride because of who he is. And I understand that. He's a Millwall boy, but I think the question does need to be asked. And I think Murray Wallace on the other side, just going off the game yesterday, their delivery from bombing forward was absolutely terrible. It's something that needs to be addressed. And possibly more controversial for longer term, I think that we do still try, or elements still try to make the club what it was back at the old den, back in the 70s and the 80s. And whilst it's important to keep your roots and keep everyone, it's important for us to be the club that we are. We're not in the 80s anymore. And I think the sooner that people start to realise that possibly the better.
Yeah, definitely not mine. Mine would be, how the fuck can you have a kids area, right? Fucking 6 stories, fucking 2 stories up in the air.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, if we're going on the thing, why the fuck do you have a PlayStation or an Xbox in a football stadium for kids to play on while you've just paid 30 quid to come and, or 20 quid or whatever, to bring them to watch live football that they want to spend the time watching fucking football on the screen? Madness. But let's come to some of these comments. Paul Goddard was money well spent. Not exactly sure what Vog Slammer does as a player and what he's good at.
That's Joe's burner account.
Yeah, I reckon so. This one's good. Neil Harris was an average manager. Or this one. Jordan Archer wasn't actually that bad, and I would probably take him over George Long.
Yeah, I don't think Archer was as bad as people made out to be, but not over George Long. No way.
JG Ram, I liked Bob Peters.
Sure.
Taff Viking, Don the Mask. That Alan Dunn was nowhere near as bad as most made him out to be.
I agree with that. I do agree
Terry
with that.
Hurlock wasn't that good of a player.
Again, that was the one that I thought might get a few comments, because I can't comment. I never saw Terry Hurlock play. But was Terry Hurlock a good footballer, or was Terry Hurlock just a hard man?
I've just retweeted it now. Let's see. There was probably a decent club that were probably a decent club with decent fans, and a club that does a ton for the local community. Yeah. We're the best behaved supporters in the land. We'll be in League One again before we're in the Premier League.
Yeah, that was depressing.
Dave Martin was not a West Ham mole, just a little misunderstood. Also, Billy Bonds is a Millwall legend. So many I'll start with this one. David Ford was an atrocious goalkeeper, dropped as many clangers as Jordan Archer.
Whoever that was absolutely triggered Ben, one of the panelists. That absolutely sent him over the edge. He won't have any David Ford slander.
I will be forever grateful to Jordan Archer for that playoff match and his huge saves. Andros Townsend was better for us than Harry Kane, and we should have thrown the book at him.
He was good, but
if you'd rather the club stay in the Championship rather than having a small amount of success, in fear that the club would become sanitised, eventually your resistance to change and allow the club to make more money will see the club fall back to League One and struggle to cope financially. Here we go. This one is one. And again, get your comments in because we'll come back to the comments in a little while. Can't fucking stand. Let them come.
Yeah, I would like us to go back to that guy and ask him what he would rather us come out to. Because I thought West Brom come out to some... Oh, what is it? What did they come out to yesterday? Sounds like you're in a nightclub. And I don't know. I think it gives us a little bit of... Rather than just have a generic song, I think it gives us a little bit of identity. So I'd be interested to know what music you would rather us come out to other than Let Them Come.
This one's a good one. And in line with what the picture was. Neil Harris wouldn't be our top scorer if he hadn't had those 2 seasons playing with Paul Moody.
Again, not to touch on the night with Harris, but he spoke very highly of Paul Moody, didn't he?
Yeah.
He spoke very, very highly of him.
Oh, look, there's a point with you. Maybe this is your burner account. Dorian, maybe from Football Factory. Maybe that's your burner account. People pretend Romeo was bad because he couldn't cross, when in reality, Danny Mack's crossing is even worse.
But the thing is that it's true. And look, Danny McNamara defensively is very, very good. He shields the ball well, he tackles, he recovers very, very well. But on the ball and going forward, someone needs to drag him to the training ground and just get him to keep crossing it all for about 2 hours every day to get better, because he just can't do it going forward.
So there we go. Being seen as good as you're a Millwall type player is very outdated mindset. What we need is actually good players, not people who try hard.
Agreed.
Grown adults running on the pitch. Dundee blue is the best colour for our home kits. The old Den was better than the new one. Danny McNamara isn't as good as everyone thinks, especially going forward. Terrible on the ball and delivery is shocking. People that are offended by someone wanting to sit in their actual seat are far stranger than the person that actually wants to sit in their seat, especially when it's that person's season ticket. West Ham are a proper club and the majority of our fan base respects them and what they stand for. A Jed Wallace fan. Jake Cooper should take our corners. George Saville is severely overrated and not good enough.
No, you read that out on purpose, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, I won't have any.
If we get in the Premier League, it will be the final nail in our coffin for a club. Henderson wasn't appreciated enough. Jimmy Abdul, this one will trigger the comments. Okay? Jimmy Abdul stole a living from us.
Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
Morris Wallace hides the fact he struggles to pass the ball 5 yards by doing a cruft turn 3 times a game. Lions TV are worse than Arsenal TV. When I tell people I support Millwall, listen, if you want to have a look at those in more, it's pinned to our comments on Twitter. Go have a look. There's some very, very funny ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go. So we'll go through those.
We had a right, didn't we, for a long time on, what was it, Thursday? The post went out, or Friday? We had so many in the chat, didn't we, going through and had a right laugh at some of the comments. It's brilliant. It was really, really good.
I like this one. Look, we had this one before, yeah? Wait till you get to 64 and it takes 10 minutes to have a piss. 10 minutes, you lucky bastard. Cascarino and Sheringham were Millwall strikers at the old Den. New Den is better than the old Den. The Den was the Den. Ted never came back due to Dennis Wise bringing in Jody Morris has something to do with his bird a few years before, allegedly. It's not the new den. Can't stand it when people call it the new den. Here's one. And Gaza, don't you answer it, because I know you know the answer. But what was the name of the new den before it got the nickname the new den? When it was built and it was going to be done, what was the name of that? What was the name of the ground before it got the new den inherited? This is great tonight. There's so many comments, so I'm really struggling to keep up. Of course, the old den was a fantastic ground, yeah. If you were busting for a shit at the old den, you needed a strong stomach and long legs. Oi, oi, lad. Hello, Milner. Been a while, fella. Hope you're well. Not so new den. 66 league seasons at the old den versus nearly 33 seasons at the new den. It's only 66 league seasons at the old den? No, it's more than that, wasn't it? Millwall will remain in the Championship for the next 10 years. Yeah, you've not been following Millwall long, have you, Christian? You must be fairly young. We're a yo-yo. We've been here, 5 years now? Is it 7 years now in the Championship?
2 under Harris.
6 years.
6, I think.
6. Jordan Archer cost us the playoffs, for fuck's sake. Ford and Denzel weren't any good, in my opinion.
Oh, get Ben. Send that to Ben.
Great post regarding the seasons at each ground, mate. Let 'Em Come is the best song ever. Prodigy smacked my bitch up. Keep Let 'Em Come at the start. Glad to stop to the goal music.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think since they stopped that was a good move.
Let 'Em Come is a Millwall legend. Let 'Em Come is Millwall's song. Jim was quality.
Yeah.
No one can nick Let 'Em Come like they have No One Likes Us or Hey Jude. Senegal Fields. The new London Stadium sponsored by Pizza Hut. I don't know if it's sponsored by Pizza Hut, but yeah. Okay, Daily Millwall then. I've sussed out now because you're the one who called me fucking 59. What boxes fought a boxing match at the new London Stadium? You see, we got the London Stadium in before West Ham, mate. I have a copy of Millwall vinyl single before Let 'Em Come, and it's called Millwall FC, and there's got the Ballad of Harry Cribbs. If you flick through our YouTube channel, Michael, you'll see that there was the team at 71-72, and we put 4 or 5 of them together. We put Brian King, George, I can't think of all their names now, but we put them all together, and they sing that song, if you do it. So, yeah, congratulations. Your dad got it right. Yeah.
He knows everything.
Oh, yeah, no, look, Gaz has come back on. See, I told you, Gaz knows everything. If you've got a tricky question, throw it in the chat. Gaz will answer it regarding Millwall history. If you've not been on his site, check it out. It is, honestly, it's good. I love Quo rocking all over the world.
Uh-huh.
Heidi Herb and, yeah. Listen, anyone could give me one part of the answer. I needed 2 boxes. Where are we? Gary Burke has to start on Friday and Vlog has to, well, yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute. Honeymoon and Watman, not good. Herbie Hyde, yeah, but that's just one of them. Who's the other one? We used to play the Pied Piper by Steve Race and his band before Let 'Em Come. Wow. Didn't we used to play Shoeshine Boy as well, Gaza? Heard Herbie Hyde, can't remember the other geezer. Friday's massive must win, yep. Hyde and Bent, there you go. Hyde and Bent. Yeah, Herbie Hyde and Bent, yeah. Michael Bent, yep. And as I said before, plenty of times, that Millwall actually holds more for a boxing tournament or boxing contest than the O2, which is mad to think. So hopefully the club will get a box. It'd be good if they'd done an undercard, wouldn't it? Of all the Millwall boxers.
Yeah, that'd be.
Do you know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah, that would be quite.
Because I think there's probably a good 5 or 6 of them, and then a few others on the undercard. But actually have a whole night of Millwall boxers.
You'd get that well supported. You'd get that well supported as well.
Yeah,
really good support for that.
Oh yeah, it'd be fantastic. Pied Piper was between Shoe Shine and Let 'Em Come. Okay. Wikipedia is wonderful. Cheat. You're blocked. That's it.
At least he's honest.
No, that's it. So yeah. Joshua Bollocks gone already. Never fight at the Den. No, he was crap last night. He looks as if he's just not in it. I heard Billy back on Friday. Okay, hope so. Yeah, Joshua Bollocks gone. Yeah, absolutely. It looks as if he didn't want to throw punches because he didn't want to get hit. Do you know what I mean? With boxers, normally, because his hands were right up all the time and he weren't really going mad. Normally with Joshua, who's known as a knockout, you know, he's going for the knockout, but he just seemed a bit... I mean, listen, I don't want to get in the ring with the people he's getting in with. They'd take my head clean off. But for 50 million, I'd probably have a go at getting in the ring with Joshua or Tyson. I don't mind lasting... I last, what is it, 240 seconds in it, 3 minutes? For a £50 million payday. Listen, I'll have a pair of trainers on, mate, and I'll be running around that ring, mate. Do you know what I mean? Ducking and diving. But yeah, I agree. AJ should retire. So coming in, Stephen, 20 minutes left. What are we going to talk about?
Well, I'm going to
Game on Friday.
I'm going to ask the good listeners first, because we need a couple more. If anybody's interested in recording a Who Are You? Obviously, Ricky and Chris, who have been on the comments most of the evening, have both done theirs with Andrew Fleming. We've got a couple of the podcast guys. I think my one will be going out next weekend. Obviously, this weekend we've got Chris's. So if you're interested, drop us a message. Literally 40 minutes, 45 minutes, have a chat about time supporting the club. Have a look at what's on there now so you get some inspiration for some answers. But it's really cool to reminisce with other fans about their time supporting the club. So drop me a message. My Twitter handle's up on the screen. Drop the pod a message and we'll sort out getting one recorded. I'm sure Ricky and Chris will confirm in the chat that it was good fun talking about all the old times. And drop us a message. It'd be great to get you involved.
You have got the where is it? I think we have got a link somewhere, haven't we? I'll try and find it. So we've answered quite a lot today. Is Jed Wallace a legend or not? And you've come back with that. Neil Harris is obviously a legend. Steve Morrison isn't a legend. Just really see what you want to do. What other topics do you want to come out with now then, Stephen?
I think we've got
20 minutes.
20 minutes left. Got 7 games starting on Friday. I think focus, rightly so, has been on West Brom over the last yesterday and today. There's been a lot of people still talking about what's going on at the moment with 4 points, 7 games to go. It's getting exciting. I think we've got an exciting 7 games, hopefully 10. Getting into the playoffs, but I think we do need to be full steam ahead for Friday. We need to fill the den and get going.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear any of that to a degree. I've just posted the link if you want to come on Who Are You? There's a form there you can fill out and go from there. Let's just click through some of these and then we'll come back. I've got an idea for a question. AJ should retire. Yes. It's a good crack. It's about, I tell you, it was the first time in about 30 years that the guys have all been put together from the 71-72 team had been together they were on a video call, but they were all together, all over the world, all together. And it was as if they'd only stopped seeing each other yesterday and they were so hard to control, unbelievable. But great entertainment and great camaraderie and all that lot. But yeah, it was chaos, more so than this show. Does Billy Mitchell come back in for Leonard if on Friday? Maybe. I aged 20 years, for fuck's sake.
It wasn't that bad, Chris. It wasn't that bad.
And it was fantastic doing the pod with you, Stephen. Brought up good memories.
Cute.
Good. Stephen, I will do it. How do I get in touch? I've posted, there's a form in this, or drop us an email at info@millwallpodcast.co.uk, or drop us a DM on Twitter, or drop Stephen a DM, and we get it done. But there is a link now in these comments. If you click on there, it'll take you to a Google form. Fill out the Google form, and then we get in touch with you.
He's just replied at the end as well, so he's done it. So we'll look out for that.
Does that Millwall podcast know? No. Listen, I'm a mere peasant now.
I know. I know what they're doing.
What are they doing then?
Promotion to the Premier League. They probably will be doing something, but
I don't know what they're doing. But I would suggest that if they're doing something, it will probably be for the start of the season, next season. I can't see it being done this season, to be fair. They've asked for everyone with thoughts and all of that to get in touch, so they're probably creating a visual video or sound clips or something. But yeah, we could do the same. I mean, if you want us to do something, we can always do something. We could, get some videos from you with memories from the new den. Happy to say we can do bits and pieces from that. So we can do anything like that. So yeah. Right then, we got about 10, 12, 13 minutes left. Let's have you starting 11s for Friday, even nearly. You're starting 11s for Friday, and also your predictions, please. And then we're going to have to pick the best. Is Friday a sellout? Got no idea.
Not yet.
Have Luton got both tiers on Friday? I think they've got lower tier.
They've got 3,000 and they've got 3,000.
Oh, so they'll have.
Yeah.
Will they have both tiers? Yeah, they'll have both tiers.
Yeah.
They'll have bottom and top.
They've got 3K.
Because as far as I'm led to believe, it's about 4,000 or 5,000 per side. So yeah, they'll have there. Just done it. Excellent. Stephen will be in touch unless you want me. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. If not, it'll be them. Era special third kit with a den on it. There we go.
That would be wicked. That would be a really cool idea. I like that.
Every year for the last 2-3 years, I've got a shirt designer to make.
Is that you? That posted on Twitter as well.
Yeah,
it's you.
Yeah. I make prototype shirts every season when I find out what the shirts are going to be, because a load of people get to see the shirts through various things, and for the last 2 years, no one's ever allowed to take any pictures, no one's sharing messages, because the club are very, very good at finding moles. So, if you're lucky enough to see the shirts, drop me a message with quite a good description of what they look like to a degree. I will give those brief to my shirt designer, who will design the shirts. I'll send you copies of them back so you can look at them and go, yep, that's it. And then we post them, because I've done it for the last 3 years and the club hates it. But we enjoy it, so it's good, especially when the shirts come out and then I've got them right. Totally agree with that, probably, or the pod gets it right. Probably a celebratory shirt, I reckon so. Vog Samarin and Ollie Burt to start. Millwall 3-1. Really enjoyed the time on here, lads. A great show again. Thank you very much, Michael.
Michael.
Those of you watching or listening and haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Make sure you press the bell and make sure that you tick everything and do everything. I don't know. I've got no idea, mate. But if you tick all that and give us a like and share, and all of that malarkey.
Tell their friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your auntie, your mum, and the geezer down the local shop, and all of that, and just keep liking it, and all that means that we can get involved with the algorithms and get everywhere we want to get to, and more people find us, and then we grow, and it's great. But one thing we will never do on this show is ever ask you to pay anything to enjoy this or anything else. It's not what we're about. We do it because we enjoy doing it, and we've got a few sponsors and stuff what get involved for that side of it. So we're never going to ask you for a penny. Never have, never will. So yeah, that's the only thing we won't ask. But your subscription, your subscribing, your ticking the notification button and all that is worth thousands and thousands of pounds to us. So we'll take them all day long. Thank you very much. 3,000 fucking Watford coming with them. Unchanged other for Burke for what more? If our crowd find our edge. Yep, totally agree with that. We need to change back to royal blue. Yeah. Billy Mitchell, if fit, in the middle with Saville. Long, Danny, Crespo, Cooper, Wallace, Saville, Lenny, Burke, Fleming, Vorgy, Bradders, 3-2 Millwall win. Make it hostile. We will beat Luton 3-0. Creswell is out. His eye, Hutchin. For 30th year celebrations, I'd love Millwall to bring back curry and chips. That used to be a great one, didn't it? On a midweek game, going with curry and chips. Do you remember that? Chicken curry and chips.
I don't think I know.
Do you not remember?
No.
If you were in the comments and you remember what Glenn's saying, who remembers the curry and chips on a midweek game in the polystyrene container? The 11 for Luton and the 11 for Mill and the 11 for Hull need to be different. Make at least 2 to 3 changes, fresh legs. Because you're proper Wall fans. Oh, what? We've not asking for money, you mean, or just we're great. Match day special. So yeah. So what would you do then if you celebrating the 30 years at the Den? What would you do? I know what I would do. I
think I really like the idea of having a shirt with the Den on it. I think that would be quite a good idea. The other thing I would do, it wouldn't be throughout the season. It would either have to be in pre-season or at the end of next year. It'd be quite difficult logistically. I would try to organise a game of perhaps the best players or best Millwall players that have played at the new Den in the last 30 years, and obviously if they're still able to, and try and have some kind of or like like what they used to do on Sky, the Masters, the five-a-side pitches and stuff.
Yeah, we've done that many times.
And have the team from the 95 to 2000, 2000 to 2005, and if they're able to, and have five-a-side games between them, something like that.
No, what we did on the show and just got too hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we tried to pick five-a-side and end up with about 30 each team.
Yeah, no, that was it, wasn't it? So yeah, bring back 1993 prices, but it was £20 anyway for East Upper. Who remembers bags of monkey nuts? A bit young for me, but those of you at the old Den will probably remember that. Fill the corners in. Do what Theo did for the fans on the last day of the season against Oldham in 2001 and give every playing fan a free pint or a soft drink. That's a good call. Get rid of all the shit beer before the end of the season as well, yeah. Millwall Legends game. Then everyone can moan who is and who is a legend. Oh, God, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? That would be cracking. Absolutely cracking. Chicken korma and chips were called match day special. Bird spilt it on my arm and burnt like lava. Nice. So then, Stephen, whose comment are we going to go? Are we going to go with a comment, the best comment, or are we going to go with a random generator and I just put all the comment? Stephen's dead.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Stephen's just had a heart attack. He's no longer there.
No, I was trying to scroll through some of the comments. There's a couple of good ones. There are a couple of good ones, but go on. I think you're going to say the random generator, aren't you?
No, I think the Rowett one was good, but again, I don't know. I mean, is there any people? Obviously, don't nominate your own, but is there any comments that you think? Oh, that's definitely the best comment so far this evening. Is there any what stick out? Or do you quickly put in the comments? Do you think we should do random, or yes? Do you think we should do random generated to pick a winner for the Neil Harris print, or do you think we should look at picking the best comment? What comment do you think is the best? Because unfortunately, there is millions of them.
I think the fella who said that the Millwall podcast and you were legends, that's the one. That's what's getting my vote.
Yeah, do you know what? We're see, Craig's now saying random it.
The fairest way is to random. I mean,
I'm going to random it. So keep talking, Stephen.
Basically, what you need to do now in the next 30 seconds is to make as many comments as you can, because then
right.
I'm
going to random generate this in 2 minutes' time. So what you need to do is get in and make a comment fairly sensible, and you will be into the pick. It don't matter how many times you've already commented. Get in there, and I will pick you. So you need to get in quick, because I am clicking up, and I will click it live on air so that you can see it. Give it to me, or I'll kick you in the nutsack. Nice. If you get over to, as I said, Pitchside Prints, and I'll drop the link on there in a set. I'll drop the Twitter account. If you get over there and follow them, I'm sure they're in the process of starting up. They're just trying to get more followers at the moment. But once they do,
Gaza London said exclude him from the draw. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Per comment said exclude him from the draw.
Yeah.
What we should have done, we should have got everyone's comment like with a hashtag, and then all the people that did it, we could have put them through that way. That's what we should have done.
Oh, we can do it anyway. So yeah, right, here we go. So YouTube comment, we go there, and filter duplicate users, filter comments based on specific tests. No, exclude users. So was it Gaza London, isn't it?
Yeah. Mickey, your smiling face is prize enough for me. Exclude me also. If we weren't making it random, then that would have been the winning. That would have been the winning quote.
And Alex S, is that, yeah?
Yeah, and Gaza London, the Norwegian bird might not be looking as good nowadays.
Show random names. Solve some.
Bobby, once that we come off air, we'll have a look at the form. I'll get in contact with you. We'll sort out a suitable time to record. Obviously, it's a couple of days that might not suit you, might not suit me, but we'll get that. We'll definitely get one recorded, and we'll sort that out. Don't worry. I'll be in contact with you. All right. And again, if anyone else like Bobby wants to get involved, another plug, by all means, have a check of the videos that's on YouTube at the moment, the Who Are You. So have a look if you want some inspiration, and drop me a message. But as I say, Bobby, I will be in contact with you shortly. All right.
Why is that not doing? Hang on, bear with me 1 second. Stephen, yeah, go on. Do you want to speak about Luton while I just get this up?
Another big game, another big test. I think for anyone that's still listening and has been listening for 2 hours, it's definitely we've definitely been in for the long haul tonight. But big weekend. I think Luton and Hull in the space of 4 days are gonna the league's really gonna shape up quite nicely. Hopefully, from a Millwall point of view, be 2 games down in quick succession. So come next Tuesday, there'll only be 5 games to go. And I think you'll have an understanding on what's going to happen from now until the end of the season. If you're going on Friday, as they used to say over the tunnel, tell your friends to tell their friends. Let's fill the den, get as many people there as possible. If you bump into any of us, I think there's the majority of the podcast panel are going to be around at the game on Friday. Come and say hello. More than happy to meet you guys. And let's hope that come this time next week, I'm sure we'll have a conversation whether it's obviously next Sunday is Easter Sunday. We'll have to see if the podcast is on next week. Obviously with Easter, with obviously family commitments and stuff, but we'll post out as and when the new shows will be going live. We'll have other shows going live hopefully through the week as well. We've got some things in the pipeline, and yeah, I think just to finish, a little bit of inspiration for everybody. I think when we played Rotherham in, I believe it was October, we drew 1-1. It was the first game that we played the four at the back, and we were 16th in the league. If you'd have said at that point, after Gary Rowett's stubbornness, that we'd have been going into the Easter weekend 5th place and have a 4-point gap from the team in 7th, I think we'd have bit your hands off. So the boys are doing really, really
Absolutely well. Right, it won't let me do it while we're live, but I will get the comments in a second, and we will sort it out. So we will random it, and if you are my score prediction for Luton is 3-0, mate. I'm going to go with 3-0. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 Millwall, and I reckon Fleming Bradshaw and Cooper. So yeah, there's the link for the Twitter name for the company was giving away that print to us. They are just starting out, so yeah, if you can get over there, give them a follow. That would be much appreciated, because then that way, after us using their name today and get people followed, then maybe I can talk them into making sure we can give a print away each live show. So that is it. That's us done for another week. Let us know through Twitter, through whenever, if in any of the other video comments, if you like the 2-hour format, or if you want us to go back to an hour. I quite like the 2-hour, if I'm honest. It means it's not rushed and it's good. Your views on that, Stephen?
Yeah, and I think as well tonight with all the comments, if you get loads of comments, you can't always read them all, and I think we've done our best to get as many of them out and interact with as many of the guys as possible. So I'm happy to do 2 hours. And last thing from me, 2-0 Millwall, and I reckon George Honeyman will get a goal on Friday.
Okay, we just your last comments, and then we'll do this draw, and I will send you a link, post a link on our Twitter, or I'll post it on here as well in the description, so that you can check out and make sure that the draw is fair. Thank you very, very much for everyone who has joined us this evening. Please make sure you subscribe to us. Please make sure you follow us across social media. It might mean nothing to you, but it means the world to us and helps us beat all the tech algorithms and get in front of more Millwall fans. Obviously, the more we get in front of, the more we get around, and the more content we can bring. So that's it. That's us done. This will be going out as a podcast, probably over a few different episodes, because people won't listen to it in one hit. And Chap with Chaps will be loaded up shortly. And also that'll be out as a podcast tomorrow. This will be going out as a podcast probably from Tuesday. So no problem. I think Friday's on the telly, by the way.
It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's on the telly. Don't forget, early kickoff, 12:30 kickoff as well. That's it. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Speak to
guys.
you again.